everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask Kate with the amazing Kate Deering. We were just having a bit of a catch up. It's we're at obviously opposite ends of the earth, sort of. Not exactly opposite, but it's cold.
Definitely
it's winter.
climates.
Yeah, it's winter for Kate, and she's like, "Oh, gee, you're looking real tan, kitty." Summer for us, obviously, and I've been going to the beach, which is awesome. And we haven't caught up probably for about 3 or 4 weeks. What have you been up to, Kate? What have you been working on? You've just been
staying
helping...
out of the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, San Diego's not number. We've literally had rain for 2 weeks, so we don't know what to do in San Diego when it rains. So nobody goes outside. Like we are fearful. We have no weather here other than sun. So when it's anything other than that, we don't know what to do. So, interesting. I've been investigating 2 things lately. One is I'm trying to get my book onto audio.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I'm hoping to get that done. And I know I have a lot of people want to do a book on tape or whatever. So I'm trying to get that wrapped up. It's a little bit of a process. And then I'm still...
That's a really good idea. So many people Audible like to listen to books. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm finding someone to do the reading. I don't personally want to do it. That's a lot of time spent. So there are people that will do this for me. So that's perfect. I'm just trying to get it all established. Hopefully by somewhere around the beginning of the year, we'll have that done. And then trying to get the first non-English speaking book going on. So hopefully the French edition, we're trying to figure out how to get this all done. Probably in the next 6 months, we'll have another transcribe of the How to Heal Your Metabolism in French.
Oh, that's so exciting. I actually, one of the guys in Lynn's coaching group, they're 2 French guys, and they've got a program in France, obviously, but it's for men. And I got him onto your book, and he read it, and he started to drink juice and eat some of the foods and stuff. Anthony is his name. He's really awesome. I really like him. He loves strength. They love strength training too. But no, that'll be really good. And then eventually, will you get it done in other languages, do you think?
Yeah, I think, I have a lot of people contact me from France, and and so I think that will be the first to see how that goes. It's not a cheap process to get it translated, so let's go there first, see how it goes. I mean, obviously, I just want the information out there, and so I kind of have to bite the bullet on this one. I think that's the most important thing, but I think it will kind of find a home, and hopefully, probably Spanish would be the next one after that. So we'll see how that one goes.
Oh, look, my brother lives in Chile and speaks fluent Spanish and teaches English. Maybe he can do it for you. Yeah.
Possibly. It is always better if somebody understands Ray Pete too, because I find that you got to understand the content or it gets... Yeah.
Well, he has been, we helped him with it. Yeah, because he had some pretty bad digestive issues. And we sort of got him onto the nutrition, and he done some of our strength training, not as into it as us, of course.
Right.
Got him onto the periactin. That really helped him. He had some pretty bad diarrhea. Poor old Ben. Gee, probably fantastic. He'll be like, "Thanks, Kitty. Thanks for telling everyone."
He's like, "I hate you."
Thanks very much. We've been working on our app, which is going to be. We've just been testing it. We've got the first round, which is so awesome. So the food tracker, we're really excited about, because it'll be like MyFitnessPal and Chronometer built into one. So really easy to track, none of the outside noise or adverts, and just the layout's awesome. So you can track all your nutrients as well, which would be so cool. So we can, often we'll ask clients to track calcium. We have to go and get them to bloody log into Chronometer, which is an American app, which is annoying because it obviously has all American.
Is that what happens? Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be...
I like that one for sure, but I know that it doesn't convert to, it sometimes has the grams and so forth in there, doesn't it? Yeah, and just doesn't have a lot of the foods we have here, obviously, too.
But it'll be good because we can obviously, make sure all the entries are right as well. Because we find a lot in MyFitnessPal, a lot of the stuff's not right.
Yeah.
The macros and stuff. So and it'll be really awesome. Allow our clients to just at the touch of a button, every day input their temp, pulse, weight measurements end of the week, all their subjective measures, which will be awesome. And they'll be able to have it'll just make it the tracking process, I think, that much easier. I think, people are so busy today. Women are so busy. If you can have one thing that makes the whole process easier,
totally.
It'll be good. So we've been working on that, and that'll be released. We're hoping in a couple of weeks.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Send me an app.
Yeah, I will. I'll send you a login so you can have a look, have a play around in it. But yeah, today, Kate, because we were just talking before, you know, I get a lot of women in our program. They always ask me, you know, how do I attack the holidays, Kitty? And, you know, this is just brings back a specific memory from 4 years ago. Just, you know, it was probably about 6 months before I started to eat like this and stop drinking copious amounts of alcohol. But I don't know about you, but I would just restrict, you know, like leading into the holidays, because in my head I thought, okay, cool, I'm just gonna have 2 weeks where I'll drink every day and I'll just eat whatever I want, and then I'll just go on some crazy ass restrictive diet. Like January 2nd would be, you know, because obviously I get shit-faced New Year's Eve, and then I'd start fresh and I'd starve myself. And I remember this Christmas day going to my parents' house, and this is when I was going through the divorce, and I was just drowning my sorrows in booze, and I just drank so much that I went downstairs and passed out at like 3 for an hour and slept. And then I got back up and kept drinking more. And then the next day I was just so fucking hungover that I just ate like all day, just ate crap. And I think, you know, so many women, and I think our society, like we talked about before, it's just restrict. And people set themselves up in the holidays. Even when you just go on holidays, I think.
Yeah.
Like in general.
The holidays are probably the worst because people have
Yeah.
probably the most temptations, and there's so many parties going on of celebration, and you know, people don't want to feel they are left out. So like, I want to have my cocktails. But I mean, ultimately the holidays are just a great time to have completely dysfunctional blood sugar. I mean, and that's essentially what you're doing, right? So alcohol completely dysregulates you, and it's a great way to lower your blood sugar. So if you're doing the typical, like what I used to do as well, right? I never wanted to have calories with my alcohol. That was the worst thing to do. So it was like Diet Coke and
Same. Empty stomach.
Jack Daniels or whatever delightful alcohol I was mixing with it. And so it was just pure alcohol, which would, you know, eventually completely dysregulate, drop blood sugar, and then you're going to eat everything in sight. Because you're not having the understanding that you're just dysregulating yourself the whole time. And so it's a constant of that. And like, you know, me and you are common in that we were like, I hate balls to the walls, full force, enjoyed our partying time. And it was a great lesson, because I can see now it was a complete dysregulation of, and I think that's what people go into the holidays with, is like, okay, if I'm going to have fun, I need to restrict prior to that so that I can eat everything I want. And I'm like, okay, what you have to understand is if you actually try to balance yourself prior to you going out, you're not going to eat as much or drink as much. And also, if you feel that, I guess the other part of the equation, if you feel that you do need to go out and just get completely shit-faced, that might be an entirely another discussion to figure out why that needs to occur, because that's never really a healthy thought. Although, you know, we all have done it in our lifetime, but, you know, I can look back and go, yeah, there was a lot of other reasons why that was happening. But essentially, you know, there you can definitely set yourself up for a lot more success during the holidays if you know kind of how to eat prior, while you're there, and you know what is going on when you do decide to consume alcohol, so that you can kind of take care of yourself during that process.
I think you really nailed it there, and that's a good point, because a lot of women, they don't realize that it is a result of low blood sugar. So I used to feel that way too. Like I'd starve myself all day and I'd get home and I'd be like, oh, I just really need a drink. But once I actually ate more food and balanced my blood sugar, I didn't have that craving so much anymore. You know, it was much, much less. And I think because so many women in our program are the same. You know, they come in and they're like, oh yeah, but I really need that drink to relax. And it's like, if you eat more food, your stress hormones will be lower, so you'll feel more relaxed.
Yeah, so most of the time people, and that's a good point, is if you get home and you feel like you need a drink to relax, it's because you haven't eaten enough all day long. Because your stress hormones are starting to rise because you haven't probably consumed enough sugars all day. And so now stress hormones are going up because you haven't regulated yourself, right? Because as we know, sugar can actually suppress the stress hormones. But if you've been restricting yourself all day and running around and not eating and, you know, and trying to eat your salad that basically has no sugar and a bunch of protein, by the time you get home, you're going to want something, right? So what do? We pick a drink to help calm us down. And alcohol is a depressant. Yeah, so it will do that. But What it normally does, though, is just set you up for more failure, because actually that drink finally wears off. It's going to mess up your blood sugar even more, and then you're going to eat twice as much food before bed. And that's what people do. They eat that big old meal and they go to bed, then maybe have another drink, and then go to bed and wonder why in the month of December, when they've done that 7 or 8 or 9 times, they gained the 5 to 10 pounds. And everyone says, this is the average amount of weight people gain during the holidays, right? And just like, why is that, right? Why does that happen? And can we prevent that without really trying? And you absolutely can if you eat optimally during the day. If you know you're going to have a party going on, then don't restrict. Basically, make sure you're balancing your blood sugar all day long, and then eat some healthy sugars while you're there to not only help regulate you, but as we also know that the fructose in the sugar can actually help detox the alcohol from your liver quicker, so that you're not as damaged or unhealthy, setting yourself up for the rest of the week or feeling like complete crap the next day.
I think too, and you wrote a great post about this, about, when you're going out, like what should you choose, when you're going out. And there's a comment in there around alcohol, and we often stress this to our clients, and I say this to them a lot, to women. It's like you really you have to break the habit, and you have to stop drinking for long enough so that it allows your body to heal, and your liver, like give your liver a break. And I find too, and we just talked about this before we got on the call, but, I still will have drinks sometimes. Like I don't never ever drink like Craig, but it's not that often, and I don't get shit-faced anymore. And I went out for lunch with my parents on Sunday, and my parents love to have a drink. But I love champagne. And so I decided we'll get a nice bottle of champagne. I'll have some champagne with them. What did I have to eat? We had oysters, this amazing like grilled octopus that I just love. It's like got this lemon juice and garlic, like white rice. Can't even bloody remember what else we had. But, I just said to Kate, it's really interesting, like, because I don't drink very much anymore. Even the next day, I still really felt it. But, I made sure I came home. I had a good dinner, like I had my normal dinner. And then after dinner, I had like big glass of milk, couple of pieces of fudge. But I think, when you drink to excess, you just make poor choices, food choices. So like previously, I would have come home and smashed a Domino's pizza or got McDonald's on the way home. And then I got up the next day and I still, I had a bit more aspirin and, I had juice, drank lots of juice. But, it's not as though you can't ever drink again. But you really, like my advice coming from someone who has been in your shoes and walked in your shoes, like not that many people have probably drunk more than me, or maybe even Kate too. Like we were pretty hardcore, like at drugs as well, like the drugs. And I think, if you can't go without it, like you're pretty fucked. Like for me, I have to stop it and prove to myself that I don't need it anymore. And then I can live without alcohol. And then when I drink now, I'm like, I can stop and I don't feel that great after I have it. So it makes me not want to do it again for a while. I don't know, like what do you do with your clients, Kate? Like if they're really, because it's just so prevalent. Like I feel like it's a real, like so many women just drink so much.
Yeah. So for me, I like to establish when I'm working with someone, why are they wanting to heal? Why do they want to get better? Right. People really need to establish why they want to get better, because if you don't know why, and it's kind of superficial, like I want to get thinner or whatever that is, you're not really getting to the core reasons why you need to take care of yourself and be good to yourself. And so we need to get back to you finding worth in yourself and love in yourself and getting back to that, so that the decision process becomes easier. Because when you become your number one priority, all the other things become easier to do, because you're like, it's all about me. It's all about me getting better. It's all about me taking care of myself. And is this the optimal decision for me if I want to get better? And so usually when you get to go down those paths, well, no, drinking is probably not the best choice. I don't ever tell anybody they can't do anything. You can do whatever you want. This isn't me telling them what to do. It's saying these choices aren't going to support your healing. It's just that plain and simple. So you choose. Here's the knowledge that I'm going to give you based on my own experience, right? It doesn't matter how you wrap it up. Even if it's still like better to have, if you're going to drink, have it with some juice and have it support. It doesn't matter how you wrap it up. It's still not the most positive thing to do. People are like, but hey, all these long living culture, I always get this one. all these long living cultures all drink 1 to 2 glasses of wine every single day. Right. So I should do it. I'm like, okay, well then you need to go live on a farm up in an elevation in the mountains and eat all your food locally and walk 5 miles a day and all the food and have a huge community. You do all of that. Then you can too have your glass of wine every single night. But that's not the case here, right? We have to balance all of it. You're trying to get better and you got a stressful job and a husband and kids and you're not there. So we have to start taking things off that aren't supporting you. And that's something that's totally easy to do. It's a lot easier to remove alcohol than go move to, Okinawa so you can live in elevation and have the food around that area. I mean, so let's decide what's easiest for you. And so to me, it's like, if you're choosing to still drink all the time and you want to get healthy, then obviously drinking is more important to you. And that's okay. But you're just not either not ready or you're not there yet. But it's not going to help you.
I think too, like we always encourage our clients, say to them, look, do whatever you want, just track the data and see what happens. So if you can have drinks every week and you can still lose body fat and all your subjective measures improve and your PMS goes away, I'll be like, fucking good on you. Like, good work. Yeah. Like, this is amazing. You should just keep doing it. It's all a matter of, what, like you say, what is it that you're trying to achieve? Why is it important? How important is it to you?
I think that's a really good point, because anyone that does drink and they record properly, they're always like, my tempo pulse dropped the next day. My tempo pulse dropped the next day. My blood sugar, I woke up in the night, I was hungry. I woke up in the night too many times, right? So and I'm like, yep. I mean, so it's not like we have to tell you something and you're not going to, if you experience like nothing but great things and you can drink, you're right. Do it. I mean, if that's what, if you can do all that. However, I have yet to meet one person in 10 years that can get through that and do it all the time. Here and there, can somebody do it? Sure. But they're still going to have the dysregulation the next day, unless they do really early on the day. It's a minimal amount of alcohol and they really support themselves. But for the most part, they're drinking at night, and
the breakfast cocktails, Kate? Is that what you're saying? Have some breakfast cocktails?
If you do it early, make sure you're 8 a.m.
Champagne breakfast.
Shot of vodka.
Yeah.
Well, at least you have more time in the day to fix yourself, right? When you're doing it at night, then you're trying to calm yourself down. You're going to have shit sleep. You're going to wake up a bunch in the night. You're going to feel it the next day. You're going to feel more tired. So it's just going to take that day. And so...
I think you got to be willing to, after I went for lunch, I didn't sleep as well as I would normally sleep. But I was like, well, Kitty, you drank that alcohol. You have to accept it now. Do everything you can to, feel better. And I think, but when you're healing, once you've built a good base and you're better and your body's metabolism's more robust, I think you can do it infrequently, like you say, and the effects are not as bad. But if you have 40 kilos of fat to lose, if your hormones are all out of balance, if you're not sleeping, if your temperature and pulse is low, it's just literally you'll take 2 steps forward and 3 steps backwards. Like I see it all the time with clients. And like, I get it. It's hard because like in Australia, I don't know what it's like where you live, but the culture is like, and I remember this from my parents, like every get together is you have drinks. That's what it is. Every barbecue, and people like they get mad at you for not drinking. Why aren't you drinking? I mean, not anymore. Like people don't say it to me now. But
yeah, definitely in your 30s, even in your 40s, if that's what everyone is doing, it can become a little bit of a peer pressure. And I hear that as well. It's like I go with my friends and, I just want to feel like I'm with them. I'm like, okay. Like I, at this point in my life, I mean, people make fun of me because unless I'm going to a nice restaurant, I really, literally, I have what they call my juice box with me. Right. And I have a drink all the time that has orange juice. And I just bring it because I'm like, I don't care. And B, I mean, restaurants are going to have the orange juice and I have it with me at all time because most restaurants aren't going to provide fruit. And if they have orange juice, the only orange juice they have, unless they're a breakfast place, is the shit that they're mixing with drinks. And it's usually shit. So I will use that but for the most part, I bring my juice box with me and I always have orange juice because I know the carbohydrates are not going to be the best source. Right. So I'm not saying you need to bring a juice box. I guess I'm saying I don't really give a shit what other people think at that point. I just do what I'm going to do because I know it supports me. But if they have an issue, I'm like, you can have a fake cocktail. Like you can have an orange juice in club
Mm,
soda and it looks like a cocktail. I mean, at the very worst, you can have an orange juice, vodka, and a club soda and sip on it. And, you have a cocktail. At least you're getting some fruit juice. You can sip on that all night long. It's
mm,
whatever you're feeling like you belong. It's a better option versus
mm,
pounding down a bunch of alcohol. And then, the other thing you see people do, like, when we drink all this alcohol, so I'm not going to eat anything, or I'm going to, like you said, we just restrict until you did get home. Then you get home and you are starving, you can't sleep. So you eat like a pint of ice cream, and that
mm,
definitely helps. However, I mean, that's where you end up gaining the weight and
mm.
feeling like crap during the holidays. And so I think it's important to go into the holidays. Like certainly don't stress, and I don't know how I don't stress about them at all anymore. And I
Same.
certainly,
Just normal.
yeah. And like
Yeah.
in the US, we have a holiday called Thanksgiving,
Mm,
and it's basically giving thanks because we are all American at this point. And anyways, you have your families and you eat everything and so forth. And it's a big eating holiday. And, it's, now you can just, as long as if you set yourself up, you eat enough carbohydrates,
mm,
you basically don't chow down and you eat throughout the day. Don't save all your calories for that one meal. You don't overeat. You're going to feel
mm,
satisfied. You're going to be content. You're going to be able to have your one dessert, and feel good about it. You don't have to worry, because the worry itself is stressful,
mm.
right? That you're going to overindulge, and you basically will just start taking care of yourself. And it's always amazing to me when people are like, when you start reintroducing sugars back in, the healthy ones throughout the day, they're like, my cravings are gone. I don't binge anymore,
Mm.
right? I don't feel the need. I don't feel all stressed out all day long and come home and I need a drink, because, instead of having all this willpower like we had to before, you don't
Mm.
have to have any of it because those desires aren't there any longer.
I think too, when you know that, like for me, because it was always, I was like, oh, this is the last time I'm ever going to eat this because I'm going to be on this restrictive diet. Whereas
Right.
now I know, like I eat ice cream every single night. I eat fudge every day. I eat like food that I really enjoy. It's not like I have to restrict and I'm never going to eat it again. And I think just back to the alcohol thing, I was talking to this really lovely client at our event, and she's really struggling. She works for a brewery actually, and really
Boy.
struggling. She's a big drinker and struggling. She's got really bad thyroid issues. And she's just so desperately unhappy with how she looks too. And, I just said to her, like, no one's telling you how you should look or how you should feel. You're the one sitting here telling me that you're not happy. And I just said to her, look, at the end of the day, if you cannot stop drinking, nothing will change. Like nothing. So you just have to decide, and I said, do your friends give you a hard time? And she said, no, they don't. I said, well, that's awesome. And, she was talking about, her mum. And, I said, look, if like, this is what I would do is if I was really trying to stop drinking, because I think if they're a good friend, they're not going to they're not going to give you the boot because you're not drinking anymore. But if you actually sit with them and say, I'm really struggling. Like my health is poor. I have thyroid issues. A lot of my issues are because I'm drinking so much alcohol. And in order for me to get better, and I really want to get better, I need to stop drinking. So I really need you to support me on this. It's like so important to me. And I think if you actually sit with someone and say that to them, I can't imagine anyone would say to you, would not support you, like your family or your friends, especially if you told them the honest truth. And I said, so you should just say that to your mum. If you're at her birthday and she wants you to drink champagne, just tell her. Tell her that that this is what you need to do to heal and get better. Because I think people are also afraid to be vulnerable and say the truth, and that they are really struggling, that they are unhappy.
Yeah.
But fuck, if
I
someone said that to me, I'd be like, oh, whatever I can do to help you, support you.
Yeah, well, it's kind of I feel like this is why we're in this line of work, is because that's our ultimate desire, is to help and support people get better. I mean, even when I was telling them to do the complete wrong thing, my intention always was to try to make them better. I mean, that's why we do this. And ultimately, um, but people at the end of the day, they have to get back to why they want to do it. right? I mean, we can, and I always go this, like, I can't care more than you do. You have to care. And if if it's always, if it's easier to go back and drink, I mean, that's just what you'll decide to do. So they have to get down to the core reason. Why are you doing this? And it's not just to go and party and have fun. There's other reasons under that level and under those layers that are getting you to that place, and you're right. I think today's world is kind of messed up. People are living in the false social media hype, and they have a lot of fears around a lot of things. And they are certainly scared to be themselves, and because it's a tough society to not look like you got everything together, and people don't, and we know that. I mean, I can, a lot of people that come and contact me, I mean, I can go look on their Instagram or Facebook page, and I'm like, wow, they look like they have it all together from their pages. And then when they email me all of their issues and all the things that are going on, I'm like, I never would put those two things together ever. And it's fascinating, and I'm sure you see it as well, what is portrayed and what is really true. And and it's a tough society because we all got fucked up problems.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, we did. I mean, we definitely for sure did. And thank God there was no Facebook or Instagram when I went through my party years. Thank God for that. But I'm sure it would have looked amazing.
Skinny.
I certainly thin, correct.
Like cocaine's always good for weight loss, you just never, I used to love speed because I would never be hungry.
Yeah, it's top 5.
I would suppress,
top 5 weight loss methods.
It was the best. I'd just get up, have a big line of speed, have some cigarettes. Oh, it makes me feel sick now, like thinking about how I would feel. But yeah, I think, and we've talked about this before, like, and that's why I think I'm so open about stuff, because I'm like, if you be vulnerable, it makes me not feel ashamed. Like, I think when you hide things, it's shame. Like when you're hiding, I mean, obviously you don't have to share everything like I do, but I think it's nothing to be, everyone goes through struggles. Everyone finds things hard. We all do silly things. But as long as you don't kill anyone.
Yeah, but I mean, I like I said, and I know you just post something about you're not doing Botox anymore.
No more Botox. See my lines? Can you see them?
Yeah. Which, and there's no judgment. I mean, I had a horrible experience with that. It completely neurologically messed me up for quite some time. And it wasn't I definitely posted about it, but it wasn't something I went to detail with because it really messed with me and I didn't have a solution. And, it was, and thank God I had this information, or I would have been led down so many crazy paths of supplements and different crazy doctors, because I see what people do, when they're sick and desperate. And it is sad because when you are sick and you don't feel well, you just want to feel well. And I get that, and you'll do anything and you'll pay anyone and you'll go and do anything because you just want to feel well. And people can sell you the freaking kitchen sink at this point, right? But, I always came back to this work. This was the stuff. This is the foundation that will heal you. You just have to do it, and it will take time, but there is no magic potion, but it is learning about yourself. And, and I know we kind of strayed off from the Christmas holidays. However, it is about essentially learning to regulate your blood sugar at all periods of time and understanding what your body needs at all periods of time. And that is essentially what happens to people during the holidays, is they just go all over the place and wackadoodle. And, when you learn how to maintain a healthy blood sugar throughout the day, you will sleep better, be provided for, won't have cravings. Your body can heal itself regardless of a lot of things that are happening to you. It can take time. And there might be some other things that you might have to address, whether mental, emotional, so forth. But this is the route to all of your healing on any level. And it's like, you just got to do the process.
Yeah. And like, especially I think in the fitness industry, and like, I talk about this a lot. Like sometimes I think I'm like, I look at all these fitness models and they're just so beautiful and, all Botoxed up so they don't have any lines and they look amazing. I think, oh, fuck, I wish I was prettier and I wish I had less lines and I wish my nose wasn't broken from when I fell off a podium. And like, you know, you start to like be really critical of yourself, and I'm like, oh, shut up, kitty. Like, come on. Like, just, you know, but I think it's normal. You know, you compare and you compare yourself to other people, and, you know, I just slap myself out and I'm like, shut up, kitty. Like, just focus on you, like focus on the good things that you've got. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They've got like no lines, but whatever, you know, you can age gracefully with your Progest, rubbing the Progest. Craig's always like, oh, that shit. He's like, get it off me, like at night, because it's so sticky. And my pillow's like little bit sticky. It can be like I'm lucky that my skin doesn't like, I don't get any breakouts from it. Like, I, you know, just be careful. I think people it can clog your pores. Like, I rub it all over my forehead here and around my eyes, but I don't get any, you know.
Yeah. Do you put a little coconut oil? Like, mix it with a little fat. It sends that kind of seep in a little bit.
Yeah, is it better? I'll try it. I've got coconut, obviously. Yeah, I just whack it straight on. Like, I lie there in front of the TV just before I go to bed, and I rub it on my gums, and then I just rub the excess all over my face. I'm just like sticky mess, and then I go, put the red light on.
You rub some honey on your face, right? Kick that up, because that can work as well. I mean, you can make all sorts of weird masks if you want to, but it might be a little bit messy. But yeah. But you're right. I mean, that stuff will work. I mean, that thing, to me, as long as you, like I said, there are people, and I've seen them that are, whether their hormones are completely out of whack, they don't respond well to Progest initially. And it's from my understanding is, and I didn't listen to you and Tommy's, but I'm sure you
today
talked about
it's released today.
Oh, is that coming out today?
Yeah.
Everyone,
he's a real nice guy, eh?
Yeah,
he's really funny.
I don't know him, so I'll watch your video with him. But a lot of times, taking progesterone will help pull estrogen out of the fat. So that can people can have like an almost estrogenic response when they start using.
It like dumps it. Yeah, we get that with, especially too. I'm like, you have to eat. You have to be well fueled. Like, if they're not well fueled, it can be. They actually feel worse. Yeah. So
or
I'm
just go really, really, really slow with it.
Yeah. And just eat. Always eat. Got to eat more food. Got to eat more.
It honestly is usually the answer for most people, you know. And I mean, and unfortunately, it can come with a little bit of the weight gain. This is a whole nother thing from Christmas, right? This is, you can gain weight just on a healthy level, depending on what's wrong with you. But yeah, for the most part, if you eat foods that your body can digest and use and absorb the energy and get the right nutrients, you're going to be able to support yourself through a healing process.
Well, thanks so much, Kate. So I guess just in summary, everyone, you know, don't go and restrict like crazy before Christmas. You know, eat your normal food. Like what I'm going to do, because we have to go up to Craig's auntie's house, and they always have this fucking filthy breakfast of like these disgusting sausages, and they actually cook them in canola oil. So I'm just going to eat before we go, and they have nice fruits. I'll just have some fruit there, and same with Craig's. And then when we go to my sister's house, we're all just bringing stuff. Like, Dad will do a ham, won't be nitrate free, but I think sometimes too it's just like I just go and eat on the day. I don't track any food. I just eat what I like, you know, eat until I feel full. Then remember, it's not the last time that you can eat nice food. You can eat nice food every day.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, if you're going to a party, you're going out to dinner, like, you said, don't restrict during the day. Eat properly during the day, so your body continues to fuel itself, and that's what we teach. You got to continue to eat to have a high running metabolism. If you stop eating, your body will just as soon adapt. So it's not like it's going to keep high, you know. If you keep restricting, it adapts and it slows down. So yeah, definitely eat. And I think, like I said, try to get your proteins and carbs together so that your body stays balanced. I mean, those are pretty key points if you can actually do that. But yeah, get your sugars, get your fruits, have some honey, drink some juice before you go to the party, have some milk. I mean, it's hard to go to the party and ask for a glass of milk, but you know, it can be done.
All right.
What cocktail do you want? Just a cup of milk. You have any honey? Yeah, you do. You might be a weirdo if you do that. So.
So funny. Well, thanks so much, Kate. I probably won't catch up with you now before Christmas.
No.
We'll I'll release this in a couple of weeks, like just not next week, but the week after. I think I'm releasing our You Just Need to Eat More next week. And have an awesome Christmas. And we'll catch up in the new year for some new episodes.
Sounds good.
All right. Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
All right.